demonstration.
Perfect. Sounds good. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cryptic Conversations. I'm your host, Tunez from the Crypt, and we have another very, very special guest in store today. Today's guest is a man named Tom Paladino. Tom is a true visionary in the field of energy healing. He is the founder of Scalar Light Healing, a groundbreaking approach that harnesses the power of scalar light to facilitate healing and transformation. Tom's journey into the world of energy healing began with a deep curiosity and a quest to explore the untapped potential of subtle energies. His innovative work with scalar light technology has garnered attention for its unique approach and potential to address a wide range of health concerns. Scalar light, as Tom explains, holds the key to unlocking the body's innate ability to heal itself. By transmitting specific frequencies remotely, scalar light is believed to have a profound impact on the body, neutralizing energy signatures associated with pathogens and toxins. Tom's mission is to empower individuals to take control of their health and well-being by tapping into this remarkable healing modality. Throughout his career, Tom has witnessed countless success stories with individuals experiencing improvements in various health conditions. From chronic illnesses to overall well-being, Scalar Light Healing has the potential to transform lives and offer a new perspective on holistic healing. Get ready to embark on a journey of discovery as we explore the transformative potential of Scalar Light Healing. Welcome, Tom Paladino.
And I thank you for the invite. Wonderful to be here.
Yeah, I'm real excited to talk with you today. You know, this is innovative technology, and I'm real excited to have you share your message with my audience.
Thank you. We're going to speak about Tesla energy or scalar energy this evening. I'm in my laboratory. Behind me are scalar energy instruments. I'll give you a quick, if I pan to the right, that's one of the instruments that I work with. It is now operating, and I'll show you that how this Tesla instrument operates and what we can do with it, and why this new branch of physics is so promising. It's going to change the world. It's the free energy of the sun and the stars.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so yeah, can you explain exactly what scalar light is and how it differs from other forms of energy healing?
Thank you. The initial energy of the universe is scalar energy. The sun and the stars are powered, or that generative energy is scalar energy. It's not electricity. So the initial energy of everything is scalar energy. And therefrom, electricity and magnetism will serve as the subset or the derivative of scalar energy. So simply stated, scalar energy is the primary energy of the universe. Electricity is its offshoot or its derivative.
Okay. So what inspired you to explore scalar light technology? Give us a little bit of your background, where you grew up and how'd you end up in this line of work?
By birth, I'm a native New Yorker.
Okay.
I would read about Tesla as a youngster, as a teenager. Wow. And I knew that Tesla, he was such a brilliant man. I knew that he was onto something gigantic.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Tesla's work and his inventions that to this day are unparalleled. Nobody has caught up to him. Anyway, long story short, I read Tesla. I understood, at least in theory, what he was doing. And I said, I'm going to do that myself someday.
Yeah. So, how much do you know about Tesla? We can talk about that a little bit. I know a decent amount, but there's so much to the guy, and he's not taught in history as a kid. When we grow up, we learn about Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison, and he's wiped from history. And I don't know why. It's not fair,
Well, Tesla's technology was surpassed that of any scientist, and his technology is suppressed to this day.
Yeah.
What do I know about Tesla? From what I could source, the information that I could source, the books that I could read that are still available. So I know a good deal, but most of Tesla's work was essentially seized by the U.S. government. We've never seen it. And when the day he died, his inventions and his notes were seized.
Yeah.
And I've never been privy to that.
Yeah. Yeah, from my understanding, when he died in some hotel. I forget what city he was in, but yeah, I think there was like 80 trunks of all of his research, all of his notes, and the FBI just, seized all of his research, and it's like, where is that information now,
well, it's been suppressed. Why? It's free energy.
Mm-hmm.
Later in his life, Tesla was working with what he called radiant energy, or what I call today scalar energy, which is free energy from the sun and the stars. Now, if Tesla's inventions would have been implemented, we would have had a different looking world.
Oh
The
yeah.
military industrial complex would not look like what it looks like today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was that that was, if you will, the tipping point. This is why the powers that be do not want people to understand his inventions.
Mm-hmm.
His inventions could have changed the course of history, but they've been suppressed.
Yeah. Okay. So how does scalar light work on a fundamental level, and what is its purported impact on the body?
When I'm working with these scalar energy instruments, again, I want to make this very clear. It's not electricity. It's a different branch of physics. It's not Newtonian science. So these instruments, they impart intelligence. It's not physical, it's non-physical intelligence. And with this intelligence, the scalar energy intelligence, you can have a profound influence on the soul, mind, and body. Why? Because everything is intelligence. Now, sadly, we look at the biological person and we just think in terms of Newtonian science and how
Mm-hmm.
the electromagnetic spectrum affects a person. There's something much more subtle, much more profound, which is the scalar energy spectrum that has a much greater import on the soul, mind, and body than does electromagnetic energy. Eventually, we'll catch up to that. My point is that these scalar energy instruments have always proven to be effective to work with people by way of their force field. Now, understand what I'm about to say. This is not a biological process, it's an informational process. I only work with force fields of people by these means.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to cut to the chase, when I'm working with people with these instruments, I only work with a photograph of a person. That's my photograph. How does this work? My photograph has a signature or a force field on it. If I were to place my photograph inside this instrument, now my force field, now my photograph is receiving the energy, which is non-physical information. Again, it's not a flesh and blood prospect. It's not surgery. It's not medicine. It's
Mm-hmm.
information. And by sending information through a photograph of a person, you can access that person's force field. Here's an analogy for you. If I call somebody up on my cell phone, I am not in my cell phone. And when the person receives my call, that person is not in their cell phone either. It's their signal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's their voice has been modulated. So what is my point? Placing a photograph of myself in the instrument, obviously I'm not in the instrument. My signal, my energy is, if you will, then access, my information field. Now, with that said, it really calls to mind quantum entanglement, in which a photograph can connect to a person's force field. So all of this is non-physical.
Mm-hmm.
That photograph does not connect per se to my physical body, it connects to my etheric body or my spirit.
Uh-huh.
All of this is non-physical. So that force field on the photograph matches up to my force field. That instrument will find my force field wherever I am in the world.
Wow. This is far out stuff, you know, like I could see how people are going to be listening and they're going to be like, what are you saying? Like, how does a picture, how does that work? You know, and I'd like to ask you, you know, so I had another guest, I think it was like episode number 4 or number 5. And she has also a scalar energy business, but I think, let me ask you, you know, so is there scalar light and then scalar energy? It almost seems like hers was a little bit different. It seems like she writes like these intense scripts and like she goes very detailed about whatever health problem you're trying to fix and writes a whole script, and she uses more frequencies, but it seems like you're using light.
Yes. And the reason I like using this instrument, there's no human reasoning, and hence it's flawless. There's no
Mm.
room for human error. I don't instruct this energy. I don't tell this energy to do anything. The energy does the work. Energy is fundamental.
Uh-huh.
And with that, I don't make a mistake because the instrument, light, energy does all the work. So I use the term scalar light and scalar energy synonymously.
Okay.
I'm going to give the audience for instance. I mentioned that this instrument is broadcasting, giving off scalar light. These two Tesla coils now are broadcasting scalar light, scalar energy. I'll give the audience an indication of what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm holding in my hand a light bulb. It's still in its factory packaging.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When I place this light bulb close to the Tesla coils, it's animated. It illuminates.
Yeah. Check this out. Look at that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the free energy of scalar energy.
Wow. Wow.
This is not electricity. This
Yeah.
energy from the sun and the stars can animate a light bulb. Okay? Here's another experiment. I'm holding in my hand a 48-inch tube. It's
Yeah.
a fluorescent tube. It's obviously still in its plastic packaging. And I place that close to the instrument.
Wow.
It illuminates. So this is the free energy that we're
Yeah.
speaking of. This is not an electrical experiment. These are not electrical instruments. Now, Tesla was able to illuminate light bulbs at a distance. I at least can illuminate light bulbs at a close distance. But Tesla, he's got it up on me. So I have to catch up to him. I have to be able to illuminate a building at a distance. And I think I can eventually do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, Tesla was definitely, man, like, I don't know. I guess everything happens for a reason, but yeah, history could have played out so much differently. The life that humanity is living to this day could have been a completely different life. I think we're getting there, especially with solar energy and everything too. So how would you compare solar energy to scalar energy?
Solar energy is wonderful, but keep in mind, solar energy is converted into some type of electricity, some type of direct current, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still electromagnetic current. Now, that's the problem. That's the drawback, which the problem with electricity, AC or DC, it experiences entropy. It fades, it dies off.
Mm,
Whereas scalar energy is perfect energy. It does not experience entropy. There's no loss of signal.
okay. So can you explain how you've learned to build your instruments? So I guess you said you did research into Tesla and kind of like the technical components and aspects of
Sure,
how they work.
sure. When I was in my 30s, I was so fortunate to meet an American family by the name of Hieronymus. Galen Hieronymus invented these instruments. And actually, this instrument, I'm going to once again show the audience, this is a modification of a Hieronymus instrument. Galen Hieronymus received a US and a Canadian patent for his work. So I have since the 90s, I have amplified this energy. I've been able to increase the energy output of a scalar energy instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So the blueprints, the actual prototype was that of Galen Hieronymus.
Uh-huh.
And I've been working with engineers and manufacturers over the past 30 years. And through a certain type of geometry, we've been able to create a stronger instrument, an instrument to the point that we now can easily balance chakras by simply placing a person's photograph close to the Tesla coils. It's so strong. My photograph is experiencing a chakra balancing on account of the fact that it's close to that Tesla coil.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. So could you give like just like a rough breakdown of like all those little parts and like how it all works, or?
Yeah, okay. Well, we start at at the far end, if you will. That's a variac, a variable variac.
Uh-huh.
And that I started off with AC electricity, just household current.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm running it through this capacitor. That capacitor really allows it to almost have a pulse. Scalar energy is not a sine wave. It's not sinusoidal. It's a pulsation. So what I've been able to develop and practice and imitate Dr. Hieronymus, running the energy, electricity into that, if you will, capacitor, then we're starting to see a pulsation of the energy.
Wow.
We've converted it from AC to scalar. And therefrom, we have this, what I call the vacuum tube, which is really the miniature universe. Or that vacuum tube is like a miniature star.
Wow.
We channel the energy, the scalar energy, through the wires to the two Tesla coils, output and receiver. And with that, we can build a rather powerful scalar wave.
Wow. Man, this is mind-blowing stuff. In the beginning of this interview, I think, did you say, would you almost describe it as consciousness? Like
Yes, it
it's
is.
like
It,
God, it's like
yes, it.
we're all
Thank you.
one. We're all one. We're all in the creation of God's image, the universe. It's all one, it's all one thing.
This is the unifying field. Physicists today are missing the unifying field. It's very
Man.
simple.
Yeah.
It's scalar energy because scalar energy is everywhere, so it unites the universe. Electricity is not everywhere, it
Yeah.
travels a distance. If you're everywhere instantaneously, scalar energy transcends time and space. Well, that's the unifying principle. If you're everywhere at every moment in time, that's the unifying principle in and of itself. So if you want to find the unifying principle of physics, here it is. It's scalar energy. It's not electricity.
Man. Man, I love this stuff so much. Yeah, like I went on an ayahuasca retreat a couple of months ago, and that experience kind of changed my life and opened me up to all the possibilities of and the realities of life. And the one thing that I really took away from the experience is how electrical we are as human beings. We're very electrical beings. Um, can you speak on that?
Yeah, we don't appreciate that. If the energy from the sun and the stars is everywhere, it permeates the universe, which is scalar energy. And a lot of times that scalar energy will degrade into electricity and magnetism. We are in a sea of energy,
Yeah.
a sea of scalar energy, a sea of electricity, of electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
Energy is fundamental. It's the first cause of nature, energy, light.
Yeah.
Nothing else is fundamental. Nothing.
Yeah.
So if you want to understand the underpinnings of nature, if you want to understand what drives nature, you have to go back to the first principle, to the first law. The first law, the first cause is always energy. This is it. This is the unifying principle. If you want to go back to the common denominator, to the primal force, and find the unifying principle, the unifying principle is scalar energy.
Yeah. Yeah, because human beings, what percentage of the spectrum do we see? What percentage is visible light? Do you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently, if you're looking at electromagnetic energy, that narrow band of say 20 hertz to
Uh-huh.
maybe 10,000 hertz, whereas by a factor of 10, we don't see the invisible world. Now that's the
Yeah.
electromagnetic spectrum. Okay. Now, with that in mind, well, how about the scalar energy spectrum, which is invisible?
Yeah.
This intelligence drives the universe. In other words, scalar energy is responsible for all action in the universe. So eventually, I think we're going to understand that scalar energy creates thoughts, creativity, our emotions. It holds together our DNA. You just go on and on with this energy, what it can do. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, I said it on the podcast episode with the other scalar energy healer, Dr. Elisa Medhus, and I said it on there that I said human beings, we're practically going around blind. We live our life, we're blind. There's so much of the universe that we don't see,
We don't.
and just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't.
Right, right. The universe is just, it's infinite. And we just take a small sliver of that and we consider that our reality and the only reality. Well, that's our shortcoming.
Yeah.
This should be so obvious by now
Yeah.
what Tesla has
Yeah.
achieved, that there's two energies. And why don't we accept two energies? And why isn't this taught in academia? There is a forceful suppression. There's an
Yeah.
aggressive suppression against this free energy.
Hmm.
Why? Free energy is an intimidation to the military industrial complex. It's that simple.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, I'm hoping, in the next 100 years, we're going to start to see this really kick off, and start to see a change.
We have to. We
Yeah.
have to. This free, clean energy will solve our energy crisis. We're in big trouble if we think that
Oh,
the
yeah.
limited resources or the controlled resources are going to answer our problems. They're
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
As long as you have this control, this monopoly on resources, mankind will never flourish.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. So can you share any success stories, any that come to mind of individuals that you've
Yeah.
worked with?
yeah, by all means. I've been working with people around the world, and I work with people by way of their photograph. Now, I want to make this very clear. This is not a biological process. Once again, I'm holding in my hand a photograph. This is a group of people from an HIV clinic in Delhi, India. It's known as Om Prakash. Everybody in this photograph at one time was HIV positive.
Oh, wow.
They're no longer HIV positive. If I place a person's photograph in this instrument, that instrument has the ability on their photograph to identify the HIV virus. Now, it's all in the force field, it's not biological, and break down the molecular bonds of those force fields in the quantum plane. So we don't work with physical matter, we work with instructions. By placing somebody's photograph in the instrument can be directed to source out to look for the molecular bonds of the HIV virus and negate those molecular bonds.
Man, jeez.
I've worked with over 5,000 people at this clinic in Delhi, India, Om Prakash. Not one person is testing positive after I work with them. The man in the center, the man in this in the orange shirt, he's the founder. His name is Sahil. I started working with him in 2017. Ever since I worked with him, he no longer has a viral load. He doesn't take any antivirals.
Man.
He was HIV positive for 13 years. Sahil no longer takes any antiviral drugs.
You said what country was that?
India, Delhi, India. Yeah.
No, so Delhi, are they more open to this stuff than we are over there?
I would say the Asian countries, the Asian culture, they grew up with this, and it's probably easier for them to assimilate this because it's part of their culture. Yeah. Now, many people in North America and Europe accept what I'm doing, but you have to consider the Asian culture has always accepted or at least been open to prana chi. Yeah. What some people call life force energy. It's part of their culture. Yeah. That's not the case in North America.
Yeah. So in addition to HIV, so what are some other types of health conditions or concerns that scalar light healing is effective for? Is it everything?
Not everything, but eventually we'll broaden our horizons. I'll make this clear. How do I instruct this instrument? I'm going to hold up a photograph of beta carotene. If I wanted to assemble beta carotene in the quantum field, again, it's not a chemical reaction, I would actually take this photograph of beta carotene and place it in the instrument simultaneously next to my photograph. Now, what am I getting at? There are force fields. The force field of beta carotene, or the signature, shares with my force field. So it's an information sharing. It's quantum entanglement. So my instrument is now sharing the energy of beta carotene with me. So it's a light process. We're not working with chemicals. There's no physical reality. The instructions of beta carotene is now entering into me, not as a chemical, but as information. And the result is my quantum body creates beta carotene, not from a protein drink, not from food, not from a pill, from energy.
Wow. Okay. So I want to tell the listeners real quick, be sure to stick around to the end, because I think you said you're going to offer a 15-day free trial, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So I want to tell the listeners, be sure to stick around to the end, and we'll tell you how to gain access to the free 15-day trial. So you guys can gain access to all that. So are there any safety considerations or precautions that individuals should be aware of when receiving this method of healing?
That's very good. None. Why? Zip. None. I'm not working with chemicals. Nothing can go wrong. It's not a biological process. Keep in mind, this is energy from the sun and the stars. And I frequently tell people, have you ever had an allergic reaction to the stars? No. Has anybody ever had some type of adverse reaction to the stars? No. Why? It's perfect, pure, clean, immaculate energy. It's star energy.
Mm-hmm.
Star energy does not produce any untoward effect.
Yeah.
It's perfect instructions. That's why.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to take you up on the free trial. Um, I have a couple of questions. I mean, there's a few things that come to my mind that I would like to work on for myself. Um, One is sometimes I get acne. I get a breakout here and there on my face. Does it help with acne?
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Okay.
For instance, and I'll explain how that works. I'm holding in my hand a photograph of Staphylococcus aureus, a bacterium. This is frequently found on skin conditions.
Uh huh.
Now, if I were to place Staphylococcus aureus next to my photograph, the two force fields share information. By placing Staph aureus, the force field, next to my force field, that instrument now is looking for Staphylococcus aureus in my
Mm.
quantum field.
Mm-hmm.
If it finds Staph aureus in my quantum field, it breaks it apart. It breaks down the molecular bonds of Staphylococcus aureus.
Wow.
So if you're eradicating Staph aureus, then you no longer have a problem, an issue with skin conditions,
Mm-hmm.
including acne, or at
Yeah.
least in part. But that's not the only bacterium. This is a process that I observe when I want to target a microbe. I don't use a drug, I don't use chemicals, there's no injections, all by way of intelligence. All of my work is non physical. I only work with force fields, which are photographs. I bilocate to my instrument. In other words, there's two toms right here in the flesh, and the other tom is the energetic tom in the photograph. You don't have to travel to my laboratory for me to treat you. You send your force field or your bilocated version.
Wow. Okay. What about does the picture have to be like a current version, or could it be an old? No, that doesn't.
The age of the photograph doesn't matter on account of the fact that scalar energy, everybody has the same signature throughout life. So whether
Yeah.
it's a baby picture or it's a current photograph, it doesn't matter. It's still you. The age
Okay.
of the photograph does not matter.
What about can it help with increasing blood flow?
Some people it has. And those are good questions. Now, I want
Yeah.
to make this clear. These are unique instruments. Nobody in the world has these instruments. They're custom built. So nobody has my results. And nobody's been able to duplicate my results. In many ways, I'm like Tesla. Tesla had unique instruments. I have unique instruments. So I have to rely upon testimonies of people
Uh
to
huh.
speak to the efficacy.
Mm.
Nobody's been able to duplicate. There are not two types of instruments out there. There's no
Mm-hmm.
duplicate. So what am I getting at? The testimonies carry the weight thus far.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So, what role does belief or mindset play in the effectiveness of scalar light healing?
I think your mindset will accelerate the healing
Yeah.
because your mind is a scalar energy vessel
Mm-hmm.
and your emotions are scalar energy waves. So by all means, I would encourage people to participate in their healing.
Mm-hmm. What about how does scalar light healing integrate with conventional medical treatments or therapies?
Every time I've used this instrument, there's never been any contraindications. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't interfere with surgery, medicine. It doesn't interfere with the biological body. Why? I'm not working with human biology.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working in a different dimension. Our biology is really is a quantum field of electricity and magnetism. I work in the other dimension, which is non-physical. So all of my work is safe because it's not a chemical process.
Mm-hmm.
I can't harm you because it's not physical. I can only send instructions, and those instructions then turn into action.
Okay, there's a popular theory, and there's different theories about this, but I've from my understanding that there's 11 dimensions. Do you know which dimension this is?
You know, if there are 11 dimensions, this has to be at the top of the dimension because it's source. It's directly from God.
Yeah,
Okay, this is not chemical in
yeah,
nature. It's it's certainly not a mineral.
yeah.
So it has to be, it's supreme. It's the top.
Okay. So can scalar light be used for preventive purposes, or is it primarily focused on addressing existing health conditions?
Yeah, that's a good question. For instance, I'm holding in my hand the human papillomavirus. Now, this is considered to be the number one cause of cervical cancer. If I were to place this photograph of the human papillomavirus inside the instrument, side by side my photograph, those two force fields are going to share information. So the human papillomavirus is side by side my photograph. Now, in theory, I believe that this instrument will break down the molecular bonds of the human papillomavirus, which is the
Mm,
number one cause of cervical cancer.
mm,
Now, imagine what if that's accurate. Imagine if that indeed is happening in the biological plane. Imagine what that does for women to eliminate the
yeah.
causative agent of cervical cancer.
Okay.
Now, some women have reported to us that they feel much better, and some women have gone as far as to say that they no longer have the human papillomavirus after I work with their photograph.
Uh-huh.
Now, keep in mind, I have to rely upon people's testimonies. Nobody's in my laboratory. People don't come to my lab. I only work with photographs. So people are at a distance, obviously, and hence people have to. I have to rely upon their expression, upon their testimony, their feedback.
Mm-hmm.
This is the key to my work right now.
Yeah.
There's no in-house clinic. I never. This instrument only works with photographs, so I
Mm-hmm.
have to rely on people's testimonies, their word-of-mouth testimonies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, what challenges or skepticism have you encountered in this line of work? Have you encountered any like people following you or trying to, sabotage your work? Anything like that? Or with
No,
the no?
I have not. God protects me. And really, the main hurdle right now is education.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is unique. Frankly, I don't expect people to understand this.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in the world doing this.
Yeah.
This is not taught by academia. I'm the only person in the world who has this ability. So I have to teach the world essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So are there any limitations or situations where scalar light healing may not be suitable or effective?
Not that I could surmise why. This is the energy of the stars. So this instrument is a miniature star. Now, there are billions upon billions of galaxies, trillions upon trillions of stars. If any of that star energy was harmful, we would all probably be dead by now.
Yeah. Okay.
We're, we don't realize how much star energy we are swimming in on a daily basis. We are in a sea of star energy.
Uh-huh. Okay. What about, can you provide insights into the long-term effects and sustainability of scalar light healing? Or do people need to like do this, once a month or, you know, can you speak on that?
We always offer 15 days of free sessions. And for some people, they say, that's great. I feel super. I don't need any more.
Yeah.
Others will ask to be treated on a pay scale for 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people go off for 2 or 3 months, or they come back on. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there
Okay.
are some people who are so convinced that they stay on year long. We have a
Wow.
year long program because
Okay.
they say that they feel better and they think it's worth their time and their effort and their money.
Yeah.
So we leave everything up to the people, and that's the way
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah.
This is a new science. Only the people can prove it thus far. There are no corroborating tests. There is no peer-reviewed paperwork. I can't offer you that. No other clinic in the world is using my custom-built instruments. So it really boils down to people and their testimony.
Okay. And so how much does the service cost for each?
Yeah, we offer initially 15 days of free sessions. I want people to at least become acclimated to this
Yeah.
without any compunction, without any
Mm-hmm.
necessity to pay for it for the first 15 days. Thereafter, if people would like to pay, it's a 30-day session for $89.
Yeah, and that's not bad at all. Yeah. Okay.
I want to make it affordable to everybody.
Yeah.
My goal is to get the information out there.
Yeah, definitely.
My goal, at my age, 63, I have to look at the long-term longevity, if you will, the
Yeah.
longevity of my work. I've got to get this out there in the next 5 years. I don't have forever to get this to the world.
Yeah, we definitely got to get this information out there. I also work at a marketing company. We could probably help you if you needed some
Oh,
advertising.
I do.
Yeah,
Please speak to me. I don't know anything about marketing, so you
yeah,
could
we
help
we
me.
help you with some paid advertising and stuff to get this out there.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to individuals who are considering trying it, for the first time?
Yeah. Well, on account of the fact we offer everybody in the world 15 days of free sessions, sign up your
Yeah,
entire family, include your pets.
yeah,
It's free. I
it's
don't
free.
ask, there's no obligation. I don't ask for a debit card. And then you decide.
Mm,
I don't expect you to have any idea how you're going to feel. This
uh-huh.
is new.
Yeah,
Nobody has these instruments, so you decide.
uh-huh. Yeah, I love it. That's a great answer. Like you said, he's not even taking your card information to give you the free trial. So there's no strings attached, you know what I mean? Just give it the trial and go from there. Um so how do you envision the future of scalar light healing and its potential impact on healthcare?
I think once a sufficient number of people, it's all grassroots, a sufficient number of people understand what this can do, it will take off. It will grow exponentially, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
It's all education. And again, I don't fault anybody, and I don't want to be negative about this. It
Yeah.
takes time.
Mm-hmm.
If people have never heard of me, I understand. I'm one researcher,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have the means for mass media advertising. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, thank you for this interview, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That helps.
We'll see how many views it gets. I'm still building my channel, but as I continue to build this channel, it'll always be there. And so, yeah, definitely got to help you get this message out there.
Please,
Um,
please.
let's
All
see.
grassroots effort. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, so you're saying you're the only one, really. So I mean, are there any other exciting advancements or applications of scalar light healing that you're
If
currently exploring?
if I can amplify this instrument and probably have to do with some type of crystalline structure, then I should be able to light up light bulbs halfway around the world. If I can deliver this energy halfway around the world and illuminate a building, I will end the energy crisis.
Yeah.
But, with God's help and His insight, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
this instrument, if we properly work it and amplify its signal,
Mm-hmm.
this instrument could light up a city.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it quite yet. I can light up a light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I should be able to light up a building.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the work that Akon is doing right now too. You know who Akon is? The
No.
musician, the rapper. Um, he's building a whole city in Africa, and it's a sustainable city, and he's doing a lot of great work too. Um,
For him.
so
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, thinking outside of the box, that's what we need. Good for him.
Yeah. So what resources or recommendations would you offer to listeners outside of the 15-day free trial who want to learn more about scalar light healing?
Well, on our website, we have some e-booklets. You
Perfect.
avail yourself. They're
Uh-huh.
free. And then I would try to find a good book on Tesla,
Mm.
a book that's accurate, or a book that demonstrates his engineering, not a book that's a political.
Yeah. Any recommendations on books?
Well, I bought Tesla's notes in Colorado Springs in 1899. It's an incredible book, and if you
They're
can
his
really,
actual notes?
yes, yeah, and you're right, and if you can look into his thought pattern, you could see that he's working with radiant energy, and the math that he describes is not that of electromagnetic energy. He's introducing a new math, a new way of thinking, and he's really finding his way into this infinite force field. That's what he did in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, with the Wardenclyffe Tower, right?
Yeah, the Colorado Springs, and then after that, Wardenclyffe Tower in Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay.
Both towers were scalar energy towers. And if you look closely at the photographs, this is over 100 years ago, there's no electrical wires anywhere around.
Yeah.
They were both wireless towers. So you have to ask yourself, well, he was the father of AC electricity, so evidently he's not working with electricity anymore because everything is wireless, or it was either wireless AC or a different type of energy. I can guarantee you his Wardenclyffe Tower in Long Island, New York was scalar energy because he used the term radiant energy. He was no longer using the term electromotive force or
Mm-hmm.
electricity.
Yeah.
He was using a new term, radiant energy, that described free energy or scalar energy.
Wow. And so that book that you mentioned with all of his notes, is that available online, like Amazon, Google Play? And
You should be able to find it either in Amazon or some esoteric bookstore. Sure.
okay, nice. Yeah, also for the listeners, if you're not much of a reader, I recommend look there's a movie called The War of the Currents. Check that movie out. It's entertaining and it barely scratches the surface on Tesla at all, but it'll kind of open you to the idea. It's a good movie and it's entertaining. So I guess kind of closing it out, so what is your vision for the future of your work? And can you send the listeners a final message of love and healing?
Oh, sure. What do I want to do? What's my goal? But people have to get involved. There's only so much I can do as one person. I will take you up on that marketing advice.
Yeah.
How do I get the word out? Well, try the 15-day free session. Anybody in the world can visit the website. The website is scalarlight.com,
Mm-hmm.
SCALAR
Yeah.
light, LIGHT.com. Upload your photograph, include your pets. We'll treat you for 15 days. Then you tell us how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience. It'll be unique because the instruments are unique.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parting words are, this is a unifying field. This is the unifying field, scalar energy. Why? It's the first cause of the universe. So if you want to go back to unity, one, you go back to the one energy, the one source. This is the unifying field. It's not electricity. And once we discover what the unifying field can do, it will solve our problems. Free energy will change the world, will liberate mankind. These free energy instruments will take the shackles off and liberate humanity.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tom. I want to thank you for your time. You know,
Thank you.
I want to thank the listeners for sticking around to the end. So, Tom, please tell everyone where to find you, and I'll also add it to the description of the video.
Okay, it is scalarlight.com. Tell your friends that they can sign up for the 15-day free trial. Anybody in the world can try the trial, experience scalar energy. That's how we prove this to the world.
Yeah.
Help us out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.